On our anniversary, I told my husband I wanted us to try an open marriage. At first, he said nothing. But the following morning, I woke up to find his side of the closet empty, all our bank accounts frozen, and a stack of divorce papers waiting on the kitchen table. I thought that was it, until he retaliated in a way I never saw coming, and made me wish I'd never opened my mouth. The wine had been perfectly chilled. Candlelight flickered softly across the table. The dinner I prepared sat partly eaten between us. On the surface, everything looked like a romantic celebration of our 10-year marriage. But inside me, something was restless, something reckless, foolish, and impossible to take back. His name was Ethan. He'd been by my side for a decade. Devoted, consistent, dependable, maybe too much so. I convinced myself that made him boring, and somehow I used that lie to justify the words I was about to say. "Ethan, there's something I need to talk to you about," I began, voice unsteady. He looked up from his wineglass, his warm brown eyes meeting mine. "Sure," he said. "What is it?" I hesitated, then pushed the words out, the ones I'd been practicing in my head all day. "I think we should open our marriage." He didn't yell. He didn't argue. He didn't even flinch. There was just silence. His eyes blinked slowly, his jaw tensed, and still nothing came out. I kept talking, trying to soften the blow, to make it sound less like a betrayal and more like an idea we could grow from. "It's not that I don't love you," I continued. "I do. But I've changed. I want to feel that spark again, to know I'm still wanted. I'm not leaving. I want us to evolve." Still, he said nothing. He stood up slowly, picked up his plate, rinsed it in the sink, and loaded it into the dishwasher without a word, like he was on autopilot. When he finally turned back to me, his expression was unreadable, a mixture of hurt and something far colder. "Thanks for dinner," he said quietly, and then he headed upstairs. That night, I expected anything but peace. A confrontation, a breakdown, maybe even angry, emotional intimacy. But instead, he slept on the couch, unmoving and wordless. The next morning, something felt wrong as soon as I opened my eyes. The house was too quiet. No smell of coffee, no sound of water running in the shower. His side of the bed hadn't been touched. Still groggy, I wrapped myself in my robe and walked down the hall. The guest room, empty. His office, empty. The front door was unlocked. A knot formed in my stomach. I rushed back upstairs and flung open our closet doors. Half of it was bare. His clothes, shoes, gym bag, guitar, all gone. My hands trembled as I grabbed my phone to call him. But there was no service. Confused, I looked again. No SIM card. I checked the drawer beside the bed. My debit card was still there, but when I opened the banking app, every account was frozen. The joint checking, joint savings, even my personal account. All locked. One message stared back at me. "Your account has been restricted by the primary administrator." I let the phone fall from my hand. Then I saw the envelope sitting on the kitchen table. Inside were divorce papers. No explanation, no apology. Just a single sticky note on top. "You wanted freedom. I'm giving it to you. My way." I sat there in my robe, eyes locked on the papers, hoping somehow they'd vanish or change if I stared hard enough. But they didn't. This wasn't some dramatic gesture he'd regret later. He hadn't fought me. He'd planned this. He disappeared completely. I tried calling him using a friend's phone, but it went straight to voicemail. I even drove to his office, but they told me he'd taken an indefinite leave. The receptionist smiled kindly and mentioned he seemed unusually calm. Said he'd be off the grid for a while. I almost threw up. Every inch of our home began to suffocate me. The framed photos on the walls, the dent on the couch where he always sat, even the wine glasses from the night before, one still full, one completely empty. And me. I was alone, broke, blindsided. The next day, I met with a lawyer. She flipped through the papers and frowned. He filed for divorce under grounds of marital misconduct, she said. And here's the catch. You signed a prenup, remember? I didn't. But she showed me my signature, youthful and clueless, scrawled across a document from 10 years ago. One particular clause stood out. If there was proven or admitted infidelity, the guilty party forfeited any claim to joint property, spousal support, or shared assets. My heart sank. But I didn't cheat, I whispered. I only brought up the idea. She raised an eyebrow. And did you sleep with anyone after that conversation? I looked away. Ethan hadn't needed to scream or shout. His silence had spoken louder than anything. I thought I was asking for liberation, but in truth, I just handed him the match and he set fire to everything. By the end of that week, I had no home. His lawyer emailed me, politely reminding me to leave the property in a timely and peaceful manner as outlined in the prenup. I ended up renting a tiny, cramped studio apartment on the other side of town. There was no furniture, just a mattress on the floor, a rickety desk, and a chair that creaked if I so much as leaned forward. The silence there didn't feel peaceful. It felt heavy, like it was pressing down on me. That's when it truly sank in. This wasn't just a divorce. Ethan had only just begun, and something deep inside me knew his revenge hadn't even reached its peak. 2 weeks passed in that shoebox apartment. I didn't hear a word from him. No texts, no emails, not even a follow-up from his attorney. But I could feel something coming. Like that tense moment before a storm when everything is still, the wind waiting to turn. And then the lightning struck. It started at work. My boss, Melissa, asked me to step into her office. Hey, we need to talk. She pushed her phone across the desk. The screen displayed a group chat, and at the top was my name. Beneath it, message after message, vicious, humiliating things. Your husband was a good man, one read. Just not exciting in bed. That's why I needed more than him. It looked like the words came from me, but I'd never typed them. Melissa looked at me grimly. This has been circulating internally, she said. We know people can fake texts, but HR is involved now. This could seriously damage the company's reputation. My throat tightened. I didn't send that. Someone's framing me. Melissa gave a heavy sigh. Until we get this cleared up, we're placing you on unpaid leave. Just like that, the last stable part of my life was gone. Friends turned strangers. I reached out to Rachel, one of my bridesmaids, desperate for a sliver of comfort. Hey, can we talk? I really need someone right now. She responded with just 2 words, you're toxic. Then she blocked me. One after another, everyone vanished. Friends I'd traveled with, hosted dinners with, laughed and cried with. Gone. Not a word, not a warning. They all disappeared, like I'd become some social contagion. Ethan hadn't just walked away, he'd rewritten our entire story. The podcast revelation. That night, after hours of doom scrolling, I found it. A podcast clip titled, When Loyalty Isn't Enough. Ethan was the guest. I pressed play. Sometimes, Ethan said, voice calm and steady, people confuse freedom with carelessness, like you can hurt someone and there'll be no fallout. But when someone tosses aside the life you built together like it meant nothing, they shouldn't expect to walk away clean. The host leaned in. So what did you do? Ethan's smile was faint, ice cold. I walked away, just not quietly. You talk to her anymore? No, he replied. The silence is the message. Everything else, just reminders. I stared at my phone, hands trembling. He wasn't angry. He was focused and surgical in how he'd dismantled me. This wasn't revenge fueled by rage. It was a precise, calculated silence meant to make sure I never healed. Chapter 4. The Cost of Wanting More. I used to wake to soft sunlight, fresh coffee, and Ethan's quiet warmth beside me. Now it was city sirens through a dirty window, and my spine groaning from a used mattress on a creaky frame. Sleep didn't offer rest. It brought memories. The anniversary dinner, my reckless suggestion, Ethan's cold quiet. The visit. A knock at the door startled me. I opened it to find Amanda Bell, Ethan's lawyer. Sharp suit, neutral smile, lethal composure. "Mississippi Lane," she said, handing me a sealed envelope. "Per the agreement, Ethan has finalized a settlement adjustment." I stared at her. "There's nothing left to settle. No money." She nodded. "Not financial. Just terms." Inside the envelope was a single typed page. "Claire, you once said you wanted something different, so I made sure everything around you now feels unfamiliar. I won't take you to court. I won't drag you through public shame. I've done something worse. I erased you. From our past. From the life we built. From the future you abandoned. This letter is the last you'll ever hear from me. No vengeance. Just your own voice echoing in the life you chose. Ethan." I dropped the letter like it burned. Amanda waited patiently. "Any message you'd like me to pass on?" she asked. I shook my head. "What do you even say to that?" "Nothing." There was nothing left to say. He hadn't just removed me from his life. He made sure I couldn't find my way back in. Not even as a memory. The final blow. Weeks passed in suffocating silence. One day, a message came through. "Trish from book club. Claire, I saw Ethan. He was in Greece. With someone younger. They looked happy. Laughing. Free. I didn't want to tell you, but you should know. It wasn't jealousy that stabbed through me. It wasn't even heartbreak. It was the sudden clarity that I had asked for freedom, and he had taken it, while I was left with nothing but the echo of my own choices." Reflection in the mirror. That night, I stared into the mirror and didn't recognize the face looking back. The pride, the smug confidence, all gone. In its place was a woman hollowed out by the man she thought would never leave. The only man I ever underestimated. Chapter 5. The Silence That Lingers. Time dragged on. I tried everything. Therapy, journaling, meaningless dates, hoping to patch up the wound. But Ethan had vanished too cleanly. He left no trace, no trail. Just absence. And that was worse. A career in ruins. I sent my resume to over 50 companies. Each interview ended the same. Smiles, nods, promises to follow up. None did. The faked texts, the poisoned whispers, they stuck. Whether people believed them or not didn't matter. The doubt lingered. He didn't need to ruin me in court. All he had to do was pull the thread and let me unravel myself. The picture that shattered me. One night, I saw a photo posted by someone we both knew. Ethan stood on a sailboat, wind tousling his hair, a glowing woman beside him. She was holding his hand. The caption read, "Freedom isn't about running wild. It's choosing peace over chaos." I stared at that image for what felt like forever. Not because I missed him. Not because I wanted him back. But because I realized he had truly won. 3 years later. I'm still in that tiny apartment. At least now the mattress has a proper bed frame. I have a job. Quiet, low-paying, anonymous. No more campaigns. No more attention. Sometimes people ask if I've heard from Ethan again. I always say no. Even if I had, I wouldn't deserve it. Her fall, his quiet revenge. He never yelled. Never cheated. Never humiliated me in public. He just walked away. took everything he'd built and left me in the ruins of my own design. Not because I was worthless, but because I treated my worth like it didn't matter. Was it justified? Was it cruel or deserved? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If this story hit home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more unforgettable stories of betrayal, choices, and their haunting aftermaths.